Hello, welcome to this video on how to design original torchon lace patterns. In 4 lessons, we will make pattern stamps, generate a design, turn that into a lace pattern, and solve problems. In this second lesson, we will explore how to create original designs using our pattern stamps. Lesson 2, Playing with Pattern, creating your own repeat patterns. In Lesson 1, we created our own designs for a pattern stamp, chose an interesting shape and made our first stamp. Now we will use that stamp to create some original patterns. To begin designing patterns, we need to understand a few basic principles, then it's just a case of playing with pattern. There are plenty of pattern books that can help. My book Contemporary Lace for You sets out the basic symmetry operations that we will be using. Stamping patterns. Armed with your stamp, an ink pad and some sheets of paper, we can now learn how to create patterns. Before we begin, which way is up? Twisting the stamp generates different patterns, so we place a different sticky coloured dot on each corner. You may alternatively use blobs of paint or just numbers. We always use the stamp on the diagonal to create torchon patterns. Let's see what pattern a stamp produces when it's twisted into the 4 orientations. Thinner shape uppermost, red dot at the top. Twisted 90 degrees clockwise, blue dot at the top. Twisted 180 degrees clockwise, green dot at the top. Twisted 270 degrees clockwise, yellow dot to the top. Here we can see the effect that twisting the stamp has on the resulting pattern. Symmetry. Now let's look at the 3 basic pattern operations: translation, rotation, and reflection. Translation, also known as glide or slide, means moving the pattern motif in one direction. Firstly, horizontal translation, moving sideways, here with the red dot at the top. Next, vertical translation, moving up or down, again with the red dot at the top. Now diagonal translation, moving along and down, again keeping the red dot at the top. Here I'm overlapping the pattern to keep continuity. Rotation means moving the pattern motif about a point. Here we move clockwise. Stamp the first position. Twist the stamp, moving the blue dot to the top. The next rotation brings the green dot to the top. And the last rotation with the yellow dot at the top. Finally, reflection means viewing the pattern as it would be when viewed in a mirror. But we cannot show reflection using our stamp. We had to make another stamp to show the effect. You can turn your design over by tracing it and photocopying it from the back of the paper. Having mastered the ideas of pattern symmetry, we can now start to create our own original patterns. A few examples. Here are some simple patterns created using the methods described. Firstly, horizontal translation joined, here with the red dot at the top. Joining up the stamp gives continuity to the pattern. Next, horizontal translation overlapped, again with the red dot at the top. This is already getting a more complex and more interesting pattern. Now let's combine twist and translation, starting with the yellow dot at the top. Stamp the first position, 180-degree twist to the blue with diagonal slide. Twist back to yellow and overlap for continuity. Twist back to blue with diagonal slide. Repeat twist back to yellow and overlap. Repeat twist back to blue. Now twist and translate again, but with horizontal slide combined with a small downward movement to create a diagonal bar. Rotation about a point combined with a twist of the stamp will produce circular patterns. Here we start with the blue dot at the top. Starting with an alternative colour will give a different pattern. We're basically doing the same thing here as we did when I introduced you to rotation, but we started with a different colour. And so we're getting a different pattern. Horizontal translation with significant overlap, but this time keeping the blue dot at the top. You'll see this is becoming quite a busy pattern, which wasn't something I was looking for at this time. Horizontal and diagonal translation with overlap this time twisting the stamp to alternate between the blue and the yellow dot at the top. So this time, instead of creating diagonal bars, we're creating diagonal zigzags. Horizontal translation with overlap and stamped into space. The stamp is twisted to alternate between the red and the green dot at the top. I decided I quite like this one because of its alternating up and down loops and the way the dots shift in height. So we should be looking at this one when it comes to turning one of these designs into a lace pattern. A similar horizontal translation with more overlap, this time keeping the stamp with the red dot at the top. But you see, the more you overlap, the more you lose the pattern. Where next? Try many different variations for yourself with your own stamps. Next, we will choose a pattern and show how to start to turn this into lace. To be continued in Lesson 3.